Poverty isn't always about lack of money. It's about the habits that drain it from you before it ever has a chance to grow. The truth is, poor habits will keep you poor even if opportunity knocks at your door. Waking up late, wasting time, chasing distractions, and spending instead of investing, these are chains stronger than iron. And until you break them, you'll keep running in circles, wondering why life never changes. If you want to rise, you must first destroy the habits that are keeping you down. Life does not hand out rewards for simply existing. The world doesn't open its treasure chest just because you wish for it. No, life responds to discipline, to consistency, and to the small daily choices that compound into greatness. And just as good habits can lift you into success, poor habits can quietly, steadily, and mercilessly bury you alive. A man can work hard all his life, but if he spends more than he earns, he'll never escape the shackles of debt. A woman can have great dreams, but if she puts them off until tomorrow, she'll find herself growing old with nothing but regret. A student can be full of potential, but if he wastes his hours, he'll graduate not with knowledge, but with lost time. These are not accidents. These are the silent punishments of poor habits. It's not the world that keeps most people poor. It's not even bad luck. It's the daily patterns that look so small, so harmless, yet hold the power to decide whether you live a life of struggle or a life of abundance. Poor habits are like termites. You don't notice them at first, but slowly, quietly, they eat away the foundation of your future. By the time you wake up, the damage is already deep. Habits are not permanent chains. They are choices repeated, and because they are choices, they can be broken, reshaped, and rebuilt. The man who wakes up late can learn to rise with the dawn. The woman who spends without thought can learn the discipline of saving and investing. The dreamer who waits for the perfect moment can decide that today is the only moment that matters. Change doesn't begin when your circumstances improve. Change begins the very day you declare war on your poor habits. How many times have you promised yourself, "I'll start tomorrow"? How many times have you convinced yourself that your small habits don't matter? Yet here you are, living in the shadow of those very choices. Tomorrow is the hiding place of the poor. Tomorrow is the graveyard of dreams. And tomorrow will never come unless you make today the turning point. If you study the wealthy, you'll find one striking difference. It's not always education. It's not always background. It's not even luck. The difference is habits. The wealthy rise early. They plan their days. They value time like gold. They save before they spend. They invest before they celebrate. They build disciplines where others make excuses. The poor habits that keep one man stuck are the very chains another man decided to break. Poverty is not always passed down through money. It's passed down through habits. Children watch how their parents spend, how they speak, how they treat time, and they inherit those patterns. If no one breaks the cycle, the family tree remains rooted in the soil of poverty. But the day someone says, "It ends with me," that's the day a new future begins. Before you chase money, chase better habits. Before you ask for opportunities, ask yourself if your daily actions deserve them. Because opportunity without discipline is like water poured into a broken jar. It leaks away, leaving you thirsty again. The habit of wasting time. Time is the soil from which every dream grows. Waste it, and you starve your future before it even has a chance to bloom. The most common poor habit that keeps people poor is not money. It's the careless wasting of hours, days, and years. How many mornings have been lost because a man decided to sleep just a little longer? How many afternoons have slipped away because a woman said, "I'll do it later"? How many evenings have vanished while people sat idle, convincing themselves they had plenty of time? Those moments may feel harmless, but they are the exact reason entire lifetimes are wasted. Poverty is not always born in the bank. It is born in the calendar. A man who treats time like dirt will always live in shortage. A woman who gives her hours to trivial things will never have enough left to build her dreams. And the tragedy is this: you don't feel the loss of time immediately. You only feel it when it's gone. Money lost can be earned again, but time wasted is gone forever. The wealthy, the disciplined, the successful, they treat every hour as an investment. They know that what they do today is planting seeds for tomorrow's harvest. The poor, on the other hand, often treat hours like leaves scattered by the wind, spent carelessly, without thought, without purpose. Poverty and wealth are both built in silence. A man doesn't wake up rich one morning by accident. He has been laying bricks in secret, hour after hour, year after year. And a man doesn't wake up poor by accident either. He has been letting his time slip, drop by drop, until the well is dry. How do you spend your hours? Do you let them drain away in idle comfort, or do you bend them into tools that carve your future? Because time will not wait for you. It will not pause until you are ready. It will keep moving, whether you respect it or not. And one day you will look back and realize whether you built a castle or a ruin with the hours you were given. If you want to break the cycle of poor habits, you must start with time. Wake up earlier than your excuses. Put discipline where laziness has lived. Trade tomorrow for today. If you begin to honor your hours, your days will begin to honor you. And slowly, surely, poverty will lose its grip. The habit of mismanaging money. Money by itself is not the problem. It's what you do with it, or fail to do with it, that decides whether you stay poor or step into prosperity. Many people are not poor because they don't earn enough. They are poor because they mismanage what they already have. The man who spends more than he earns will always be chained to debt, no matter how much his income rises. The woman who buys every glittering thing she sees will always be empty-handed when real opportunity calls. Mismanaging money is not just carelessness, it is self-sabotage dressed in comfort. A poor habit repeated looks harmless. Buying what you don't need, borrowing for what doesn't last, trading tomorrow's security for today's pleasure. But those habits stack up, brick by brick, until they form a prison. And the cruel part is, you build the walls with your own hands. The wealthy are not simply those who make more. They are those who understand the flow of money. They direct it like a river, guiding it into investments, into savings, into tools that produce more wealth. The poor let money slip through their fingers like sand, surprised when their hands come up empty. If you cannot manage a little, you will never manage a lot. A man who cannot control a few dollars will only multiply his mistakes when he receives thousands. And that's why so many people chase more income but never escape the same cycle. The problem isn't what they earn, it's how they handle it. I once heard a line that stuck with me. It's not the high cost of living, it's the cost of high living that keeps people broke. Isn't that true? People dig their own holes buying comfort they haven't earned, pretending to be wealthy instead of planting seeds that will one day make them wealthy. If you want to break free, you must first change your relationship with money. Stop seeing it as something to spend and start seeing it as something to grow. A dollar invested today becomes a shield tomorrow. A dollar wasted today becomes a burden tomorrow. Every coin in your pocket has a choice. Will it serve you or will it own you? Discipline your money and it will multiply. Neglect it and it will abandon you when you need it most. Remember this, money is a servant, not a master. Those who master their money eventually master their future. Those who let money master them remain slaves, no matter how much they hold in their hands. So take inventory of your habits. Are you feeding your future or starving it? Are you planting for tomorrow or burning the harvest today? If you don't like the answer, then it's time to break the cycle, because no one ever climbed out of poverty by spending like a king before earning like one. The habit of neglecting health. What good is a fortune if your body is too weak to enjoy it? What use is success if you are trapped inside a prison of pain, fatigue, and sickness? Yet one of the most destructive poor habits that keeps people poor isn't found in the wallet, it's found in the way they treat their health. Many live as though their bodies will forgive every abuse. They eat without care, they sleep without discipline, they work without rest, and they move as though their bodies are unbreakable. But here's the truth. Your health will send you the bill one day, and when it does, the cost will always be higher than you imagined. Neglecting your health is the most expensive debt you can ever accumulate. Hospitals, medicines, treatments, they can drain faster than any poor financial decision. And the cruel irony is this: people spend their youth trading health for money, only to spend their later years trading money to buy back the health they lost. But money cannot always purchase recovery. Some things, once broken, never fully return. Health is the foundation of wealth. Without strength, you cannot chase opportunity. Without energy, you cannot seize the day. Without vitality, even the riches of the world will taste like dust. You must understand this. Your body is the engine of your life. If you neglect to fuel it properly, if you fail to maintain it, it will break down long before the journey is complete. Success is not built in the office alone. It is built in the quiet decisions, choosing rest instead of exhaustion, choosing nourishment instead of indulgence, choosing movement instead of idleness. These small choices compound, just like financial investments, into a body that either serves you or betrays you. Poverty thrives when the body weakens. A man too sick to work, too tired to think, too fragile to endure, cannot rise no matter how sharp his mind or how big his dreams. A woman burdened with preventable illness cannot fully embrace the opportunities that life places before her. Health is not a luxury, it is a necessity, and it is the poor habit of ignoring it that silently steals futures. You can start today. You don't need a doctor's prescription to treat your body with respect. You need only discipline. Rise earlier and stretch your limbs. Choose food that fuels instead of food that drags you down. Guard your sleep as fiercely as you guard your ambitions. And remember, your body is the only true house you will ever live in. You cannot trade it for another. If you want to escape poverty, protect your health as though it were gold, because it is. For without health, money is meaningless, and without strength, dreams remain out of reach. The habit of chasing pleasure over purpose. One of the most dangerous habits that keeps people trapped in poverty is the constant pursuit of pleasure over purpose. Pleasure is easy, purpose is demanding. Pleasure gives quick satisfaction. Purpose requires discipline, sacrifice, and patience. And because of this, far too many trade the riches of tomorrow for the crumbs of today. The habit of chasing pleasure makes you poor, not only in money but in spirit. It drains your willpower, it robs your focus, and it steals the fire that could have built your legacy. Pleasure is not the enemy, but when it becomes the master, it leaves you weak and dependent. Purpose, on the other hand, is a foundation. It may demand more of you. It may ask you to sacrifice your comforts, to delay gratification, to walk a harder path. But purpose pays dividends pleasure can never match. Purpose gives meaning to your struggle, strength to your discipline, and direction to your days. Look around and you will see the difference. The man who chases pleasure wakes up tired, broke, and restless. The man who pursues purpose wakes up determined, invested, and strong. The woman who lives for temporary indulgence finds herself enslaved to her cravings. The woman who lives for purpose finds herself empowered by her vision. Poor habits always disguise themselves as harmless indulgences. Just one more. Just today. Just this once. But those little moments stack up until years are wasted and opportunities are lost. That's the trap of pleasure. It demands so much and leaves so little in return. If you want to break free from poverty, whether of money, spirit, or opportunity, you must stop feeding the hunger for pleasure and start feeding the hunger for purpose. Ask yourself each day, does this choice serve my future or does it steal from it? Because every decision moves you closer to wealth or deeper into poverty. Purpose is the builder, pleasure is the thief. Choose your master carefully. The habit of ignoring growth and learning. The last poor habit, the one that quietly keeps countless people trapped in poverty, is the neglect of growth. Not just financial growth, but growth of the mind, the spirit, and the character. A man who stops learning has already begun to decline. A woman who stops seeking wisdom has already accepted limitations she was never meant to live under. Ignorance is one of the most expensive habits in the world because it robs you of opportunities before you even recognize them. Doors open for those who are prepared to walk through them, but the unprepared, they don't even see the door standing in front of them. Growth is not automatic. You cannot wake up wiser tomorrow if you did nothing today to nurture your mind. You cannot expect new results if you refuse to adopt new thinking. The poor habit is believing that what you already know is enough. The truth, what got you here, will not get you there. The wealthy, the strong, The purposeful, they are students long after the classroom has closed. They read, they listen, they ask questions, they seek guidance. They plant seeds of knowledge daily, knowing that one idea, one insight, one truth applied at the right time can shift the entire course of their lives. But those who neglect growth live as prisoners of their own small perspective. They may earn, they may labor, but they will never rise beyond what their current mind can hold. And here lies the tragedy. The world is overflowing with wisdom, with lessons from history, with principles that have built nations and legacies. Yet many will never drink from that well because they never seek it. If you want to break the cycle of poverty, you must fall in love with growth. Not for the applause, not for the title, but for the transformation. Fill your mind with truths that strengthen your discipline. Surround yourself with voices that challenge you to rise higher. Never stop sharpening the tools of your mind, because dull blades cannot cut through the challenges of life. Money can be stolen, possessions can be lost, but wisdom and growth cannot be taken from you. They remain with you, shaping every decision, every step, every season of your life. And in the end, those who choose growth always outlast those who cling to comfort. Break the poor habit of ignoring growth, and you will discover that wealth is not just what you earn, it is who you become. So poverty is not only measured in money, it is measured in wasted time, in broken health, in restless nights, in aimless living, and in a mind that refuses to grow. Poor habits are chains, invisible but unbreakable until you decide to rise against them. If you want a different life, you don't need luck, and you don't need someone else's permission. You need discipline, you need courage, you need the will to trade comfort for growth, pleasure for purpose, and excuses for action. Because the same habits that keep you small today will keep you small tomorrow, unless you break them. Ask yourself tonight, what habits are stealing my future? What cycles am I repeating that I would never wish upon my children? And then decide that you will not let another day slip by and waste. Decide that you will not spend another coin on destruction. Decide that you will not feed the poor habits that have starved your destiny. Remember, you are not trapped. You are trained. And what you are trained into, you can train yourself out of. Replace poor habits with powerful ones. Guard your time, protect your health, honor your peace, and hunger for growth. Do this, and no matter where you start, you will not remain where you are. Break the cycle today. Because the greatest poverty is not living without money. It's living without purpose, without health, without time, and without peace. Don't just escape being poor, escape staying poor.